In our last video, we shared the inspiring story from the three women, the three cousins from Prima Cashew, and today we are in Ponta do Sol and we want to spend the whole working day here in this first digital nomad village here on Madeira Island. We are digital nomads ourselves. We haven't really worked in a digital nomad community, so we're working kind of on our own from home or from coffee shops. So I'm very excited to have the opportunity to learn more about this project, and I will be interviewing Gonçalo, who is a driving force behind this project and building this remote community. So if you're interested in this topic, stick with us. I have many questions, so it might be a little bit longer this time. So let's see how that all works. Open space meeting room, right?
Yeah, that's how we do it here.
That's how you do it.
It's Madeira.
It's Madeira.
Madeira way.
Madeira way. Where shall we start?
Ask me all the questions.
I'm asking you all the questions. So I was always crazy about remote work. We always work kind of either from home or from coffee shops or from also shared workspaces, but we never really in a community.
To write the community.
I worked once in a kind of shared office and incubator where like it was startups, and I took part of startup challenges and hackathons and all that stuff. But I don't know, I found always I need focus, and for me it was like the only important is like nobody tap me on the shoulder,
Yeah.
nobody disturbs me, I just want to get my work done, right? And that's why I don't like offices. So I'm really curious about this kind of establishment and this initiative. What's the idea, how it works, like which kind of people you get here, and how do these people kind of relate to just getting work done in a beautiful place like that, or want to being part of a community, and what's that part? So
First, I was exactly like you. Like I was in the office, I was desperate to leave the office, but I wanted to travel the world while working remotely, which is exactly what I do right now. I'm a digital nomad. And the only difference is that I always wanted to travel the world to meet the communities. So there are several communities of digital nomads around the world. Lisbon one is called the biggest one in the world. We have Canggu, Chiang Mai in Mexico, Playa del Carmen in Mexico. There are so many places where the nomads like basically gather and form their own community. And I love this community. So why this community is special is that all of us actually left the status quo. So we are a little bit different because we did this before the pandemic. We were brave enough to leave the status quo that says that you should have a proper job, you should have you should work for a company, you should go to the office, you should be friends of the people in the office, you should buy a house, you should buy a car. And we basically said, actually no, we can actually just travel the world, rent everything, and meet these beautiful people that are doing the same. So the reason I love this community is because we are all outliers in the world. We all refuse the status quo. We all decided we don't want that. We can work from anywhere. Let's just bring my computer to Madeira and work from here. And being able to meet these people all around the world really opened my eyes, and my growth, my personal growth and business growth actually exploded since I started as a digital nomad. Because suddenly you are having dinners talking about taxes, suddenly you are having lunches talking about how to improve your website. And you have these people, we are around 100 here, all experts in their fields, all against the status quo. So every lunch becomes a growth lunch. You are growing yourself. Every dinner becomes a very interesting conversation about anything that's happening around the world, taxes, whatever it is. So for me, the power of community is that first you feel at home. You meet people here, you make friends, and being in a village like this, you really make friends because you will see, you will get to know people that are in the working space, are in the restaurant, are in the cafes. You will meet them over and over again during the day, and this makes all the difference. So the community is important to give you this sense of well-being. Actually, one of the three pillars of happiness is community, is this feeling of deep connections with people. That is hard to get when you are traveling from place to place. That's why it's so important to have communities like this, to be honest. Like, you come here, in the second day you meet 50 people, you go out to walk in the Levadas with them, you work with them, you change ideas with them, and this is really, really important for happiness. So, well, here what we are building is exactly that, okay? We call this the Digital Nomad Village, but basically it's a village that we adapted for digital nomads. We have a free co-working space, and we warn the cafes that people come here and it's okay to work from the cafes if you want to work from there. They expect you to work from there, actually, and they serve you good coffee, good food, and then we just do things together every day. And the balance is quite easy because during the day we are really focused on working, everybody hustling, everybody making millions, like I say. And then at 5, because of the curfew, at 5 we go and we do yoga, or we go for a caipirinha, or for a poncha, or we do a workout, or we go for swimming pretty much every day at 6. So being able to have this space to work, but then stop and go with it, everyone in the community, do something. We try to do something physical in the end of the day. It's actually very important for everyone. And this balance is perfect because people will not tap you in the shoulder here, like in the office, because nobody's working with you. But people will post on our Slack channel, hey guys, it's 11, anybody wants to go for a coffee for 10 minutes. So every people just go down, drink a coffee, speak about business, life, whatever they want, and then they come back. And you never eat the lunch alone if you are around here.
That kind of makes sense, yeah. Because for me, this community was always around, and I met a couple of people who kind of did that and left it because they said it was distracting them from work. It was all around events.
Yeah.
They were in this like co-working spaces and incubators, and I was like one event after the next. And
Yeah.
you got like this feeling of, if I don't take part there, because they're coming like, you know, like the speakers, like designers and lawyers and like all the specialists, they organize as many events as they can.
Yeah.
And people just like, I need to get work done, but it's also interesting to be part of that and like to not miss those informal free things which are organized for you. And that was actually my perception, like that this is how I saw like communities and like this shared workspace, where I said like, actually I just want to get my work done, and I meet like a few people here and there while traveling and while working in a coffee shop, but not on that level that you explained now.
You don't make friendships, and this is the key. Like, after 1 week, people did their own sub-communities around, like people that are more into nature, they went for hiking together. I don't have to organize anything else. And people that like surfing, they are going north for surfing every week. I don't have to work. After you create that deep relationship, after you find your tribe inside the tribe, pretty much people are very free to do whatever they want, and they do it with people they like.
That makes totally sense. So it's a new. It's funny because I'm doing this now for so long, and I understand that because it's like when you work alone, you get lonely, right?
It's hard.
I mean, for me, it's like we are together, like we are doing
Yeah.
everything together, we're working together, we're traveling together. Like I'm kind of never alone, but we spend like 24/7 together. And so I thought this is like, okay, if you travel alone, because there are lots of people traveling alone, and I thought, okay, for them it's probably important to have community, to not be alone. But that sounds like it's not just for those people.
No, even here we have a lot of couples. I am a couple myself. I have my girlfriend for 9 years, and we are traveling for the last 5. So actually, even when you are together, you miss different people.
Yeah.
I think your wife is beautiful, but of course, maybe speaking about business, it's different.
Yeah.
She knows everything you do, but she doesn't have a different perspective. Then you come here, you met 10 business owners that can completely change your business just during a lunchtime conversation about SEO, and it's like, wow, I'm doing everything wrong. I should do this because this guy runs a whole company for SEO, and actually have a guy that runs a whole company for SEO, and he told me to do this instead, and he actually grows a whole company just through SEO. So you can take these learnings, apply to your business just because you had lunch with someone in the community, and that's the beautiful part.
That's cool. When I heard first about this, or basically I got this invitation. I went to the website. I signed up. I told you this the other day, right? It was kind of confusing for me, and I also wanted to clarify that in some way, because maybe I was just not clever enough to understand the whole setup. Because you come to the website, you see the beautiful pictures, people sitting here and working in the sunshine, and you kind of like you join, and then it asks you like where you want to stay. I said Riviera Brava, and I don't need support for accommodation, and then you basically get the email where apparently the important part is the Slack, Slack community, which I gracefully ignored because I always avoided Slack because it's kind of
That's
distracting, and it's very hard for me to kind of follow, like when there's a community. There's lots of these Slack communities, right?
Yeah.
And it's very like I joined a couple of them, and it was always like, in order to kind of keep up there, I need to often be there, and it's like I don't have the time for that. So how is that whole thing organized? Because you told me this is a kind of essential part.
Yeah.
Even I'm not here in Ponta do Sol, and I can be part of that. I can come here and work if I'm registered.
Exactly.
So how is that organized, and what does the Slack community do?
So basically, you register on the website, you receive an email from Michaela, our project manager, saying everything you need to know, because you could ignore part of it because you're already here. But she speaks about visas, she speaks about the Slack community, and she gives you a lot of hints on how to travel to Madeira, where to stay, etc. The reason why we chose to use Slack is that a lot of communities were around WhatsApp, and I have the same issue with WhatsApp. WhatsApp interrupts you over and over again. It's a personal communication tool, and I'm a remote work consultant for companies, so I kind of forbidden to use WhatsApp. And we use Slack, which is much better and it's much more organized, and you can choose which channels you want to be in and which channels you don't care. And everything happens on Slack, and the biggest reason is like people are quite spread out. Not everyone is here every day, and that's okay. People like to work from cafes as well, and that's okay. But the two most important things that you can find on Slack is weekly we post about all the activities that will happen. So I'm building that right now. We will have a whole post with Monday, Tuesday, and you can see a best overview about what's happening, from yoga classes to diving. We are going to dive on Sunday, free diving course on Saturday, lunch, community lunches, etc. You can have a good overview of what we will have during this week, and you can adjust your schedule saying, okay, I really want to dive on Sunday, so on Sunday instead of going to X, I'm joining the community for diving. Or I really want to go to the community lunch because it's this place where everybody gets together for lunch, and you can organize your schedule around it. But also during the day, imagine that you are not working in the afternoon, or that you really need a break because your boss is driving you crazy. You can just pop on the co-working channel we have on Slack and say, guys, I'm going for the cafe, I need a break, anybody with me, I need a cake desperately, let's go to the old pharmacy.
Which is really good.
Thank really good, by the way.
Thank you for this recommendation. That was awesome.
Yes, and it's just the power of tapping into the community, saying, guys, I want this, or I need this, or even taking some doubts. Imagine you want to move to Ponta do Sol. Where do I find a house? How it is like there? Is it worth it to live in Ponta do Sol? And you can ask that question to everyone. There is 1,000 people in that community. I would say around 300 are actually in Madeira right now. The others are trying to come because the borders are still closed with a lot of countries. And it's just that power of asking questions and be answered, but also know what's happening around. So you don't have to be there every day. Imagine you know that Monday and Tuesday you'll be deep working. You don't care about the world. You just want to get your work done. But on Wednesday you have an easy day. It's just the power of go there, see what's on Wednesday. Oh, there is workout. I actually need to work out. I can't do it alone. It's better if you are in the group. Let's work out. So it's just that power of knowing what's happening and asking questions, and you get answers. Not only from me, but we reach that part where the community is answering you before me.
And you are basically the driving force to kind of
yes
build the foundation for that, to kind of have a and it spins off the little community tribes.
After building the project, after building the community here, is actually just that. I'm just making sure that people connect, making sure that everybody is included, nobody is left out, and that if you want to be part of the community, you are free to do so. So it's not just like, oh, I'm not in Ponta do Sol, I can't be in the community. You can be in Riviera Brava, you can be in Funchal, and still be part of this community. This is very important. We have people coming from Funchal every day for a different event, or just to work from here once or twice a week. And not because this is a better working space than you can find in Funchal. There is cafes, there is co-working spaces in Funchal. There is a community, there is people around you. You can, again, tap on your Slack channel and go to lunch with anyone and meet interesting people around you.
That's really cool. I can imagine her inside like celebrating. Because we're very different in this case. Like she loves community and she's kind of like craving for community, and I think she's missing community. And I'm kind of like like I like my
Deep work.
my space and deep work, and like nobody kind of write me, disturbs me in any way. And
there is space for both. You can tap in when you want, once or twice a week, and then decide, well, weekends are for us, screw people, we want to enjoy Madeira by ourselves. And that's completely okay. Nobody expects you to be here every day.
Another question, I don't know like how relevant that is in general, because I don't know like how long people are generally here. What's the period? But we're already here for 9 months.
Wow.
Which is too
Nice.
long. I mean, I don't know.
We're in the middle of a global pandemic, so it's
You
better
can't
to
say-
stay
you
in the
can't say
paradise.
You can't say too long, but it comes with legal implications.
Mhm.
And I wanted to ask, like, I mean, I don't know how it applies to people, because normally a person stays like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever. Like all the tax, legal advice, like, is there some infrastructure part of that people can go and say like, I want to stay here a little bit longer. What do I need to do? Do you have like, I don't know, access to accountants like that you can recommend me, or?
Yes, and yes. So the average is around 2 months, 3 months. Although these guys are not leaving, because they came here in February and they said, yeah, we are not leaving anywhere. So I'm not sure what will happen next, to be honest.
So that question might actually be relevant for lots
Yeah,
of
for the
people.
near future, actually. So we do have a lot of partnerships with accountants, with even legal lawyers and legal companies that help you set up in Portugal if you want. I would say most nomads will just keep their setup where they are living full time, or like right now 50% of these guys actually live in the place. They are not fully nomads. They have a home base and then they come here for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And there is several rules you have to be aware of, and even if you are an European, if you stay more than 3 months, you may have to register in Portugal. But usually if you stay less than 183 days, you still pay taxes at your home base, like Germany, for example. If you want to stay longer, then there is several visas you can use. D7 is the most famous of all in Portugal. You just need it if you are from outside the European Union, or if you are from inside the European Union, you just need to register in Portugal and probably pay taxes here. But there is several things you can do. The D7, for example, I don't think you have to pay taxes in Portugal. You can still pay taxes where you are registered. But the short answer to that is, I'm not a legal advisor. Please use a legal advisor.
Not a legal advice.
This will go
but-
wrong very
but
fast.
I was just interested, like this community and this setup. If there is also like partnerships with accountants and with legal advisors. So if I have this problem, which I believe I have, for example, right? Because if I'm 9 months here, I have to at least do my personal tax situation.
Yeah.
My company is still in the UK, but those things might be a thing, and I'm sure you have some.
Yes. So basically, we have lawyers that can help you make everything legal in Portugal. We have the accountants that can make sure how to pay taxes or how to not to pay taxes, where you pay taxes, etc. And actually, if you want to move your company to Madeira, there is a very nice tax exemptions here. So it may be even an option. And we work with Startup Madeira. They are the project promoters. And all this is inside Startup Madeira. So they also help companies to set up in Madeira. So if that becomes a question, we also have the company that will help you with that. So basically, we are still creating the whole structure around it. But those three we already have.
Okay, because that might be like you say, like some people they just come here, and if they have this freedom that they don't have a home base, they might just say like, why leaving this place so soon, right?
It's happening, and the whole idea, to be honest, is that it's not just we want people to come here and leave and never come back again. We want people to love Madeira and think about staying in Madeira and buy a house or rent a house full time. Maybe bring your company here to Madeira because it's a kind of a beautiful place to manage a company. So long-term vision is that. So the first, like if you see the whole timeline, first timeline is this, what we are doing here. Come meet Madeira, come and work from here. Come check the internet. Would you like to stay here longer? Great, stay here 6 months, 1 year. Oh, would you like to actually use Madeira tax exemptions to build your company here? Perfect, we can help you out. And of course, we want more people to stay in the area because the more interesting people you have around one place, the easiest it is to build a community. And it's not about just nomad community, it's about remote work community, it's about entrepreneurs community, it's about tech community, crypto community. There is so many communities that we can build if people move here. Then it's not just a nomad. I think the nomads are just the first step in a very big scheme of things. Here we are, 9 months in, so you can tag into entrepreneurs community and YouTubers community. There is a lot of small communities, and the longer you stay, the easier it is to be part and be a voice and connect with people inside your own sub-communities.
Okay, so I just want to touch on the local community, like on the locals basically, because I saw the other day an article on Toby's blog. I think it was on Toby's blog, where he shared. I think it was the plan to go to Caleta or something.
Mm-hmm.
They're like expanding and stuff, and there were a couple of interesting comments from people, and I think the image and the community of the island, which used to be very like, you know, it's kind of a very tourist heavy, older, I don't know if you can say older clientele, and now suddenly you have this like young generation coming and discovering the island in a very different way, right? They do like lots of action sport, they like lots of crazy stuff in the mountains, not just hiking. You have water sports, and you have lots of YouTubers here, and you have lots of influencers here, and somehow like we see this ourselves over this last 9 months. Somehow the island changed. And I saw these comments, and people have this this nostalgic feelings to we lose our island the way it was, and it becomes something new. And some people, because there was this article that I don't know, like 1,000 Americans or whatever are waiting to come in. It's like, who will give them jobs? So there's like, there's very interesting perception, because people I think they don't really understand what it means and what opportunity that actually is for the island. I think some people see this as a threat to lose something, that they are used to over like the last 20 years. So do you have any kind of experience? What's your experience with that?
So what we done here, and we actually didn't do in Caleta because we haven't moved there yet, is that we prepared the locals before coming here. 2 months before, I was here back in December, and the project started in February, and we were here educating the locals, talking with the local businesses, explaining what is this. Also partnering with the locals, so all our partners in Ponta do Sol are locals. Local companies like Stay Madeira from Susana, the Old Pharmacy, everyone is local. By having the local businesses on your side, then they can explain all the other people what's actually happening here, and the whole education happens. In Caleta that doesn't happen yet, and of course in the rest of the island, still a long way to go. But I think we have to start small. So by talking with local businesses before, by talking with everyone around before, and I'm Portuguese, it helps a little bit. We could explain to everyone in Ponta do Sol what's happening, how to adjust. Even the Airbnbs and alojamento local. Okay, what you need in your alojamento local, in your house to attract nomads. You need good internet, place to work, etc. And even the hotels, we have hotels that adjust to digital nomads. All that was a learning process that we were able to do here. Of course, the island is quite big. We can't do that everywhere, or at least not everywhere at once. So of course, if we move to Caleta, or before we move to Caleta, we have to do that work there that we did here. Because people have no idea. People think these digital nomads are backpackers. Well, for backpackers, we have quite a good salaries most of the times. And we spend a lot of money here. Like, I would say I spend at least 2,000 euros a month here in the island. Mostly in eating out, doing activities, of course drinks, poncha in the beach, and just spend, imagine these times 1,000 Americans, they will not spend 2,000, they will spend 3,000-4,000 euros a month. The power that this gives to the economy is quite big. So the businesses know because we did this whole education side, but of course the public is still, they don't know, this is quite new, they are used to the tourist that spends 200 euros a day. And
that's the thing that I hear, right?
Yeah.
It's like they don't replace, because they don't want to spend money, they live cheap, and it's very different to tourists. So this is the, like...
but we have to educate them. Just imagine, in terms of economy, actually digital nomads are fairly much better than the traditional tourism. because we stay longer, we go to the best places, and we keep going to the best places. You can't fool a tourist, you can't fool a digital nomad more than once. They will always go back to the good places where they were happy before, where they were well served. And I don't think the idea is not to replace, the idea is to bring new public. Like Madeira, like you said, and it's very true, specifically in UK, Madeira has this image of being first buildings, which is basically what happened in Funchal, and second, elderly tourism, which is kind of not good. The youth didn't want to come here. Even when I started promoting this, the youth said, well, that's where my grandparents used to go, I don't want to go there. But now, as you mentioned, we have a lot of activities here. Like, this shouldn't be only an island for elderly. It should be for everyone, and you can have fun as a young. I think we spend so much more money in activities than the people that stay here for 1 week because they all go to the same hotspots. We can go canoeing, we have time. We can go diving like 4 times in a month.
So what the tourist basically spreads over years, being here like for a week or two, the people who are in this community doing consistently like every single week or something. Right?
Every single weekend we do activities and we spend money. Every day we go out for lunch, and we don't go to the tourist hotspots, we go to the local businesses. We don't go to the big hotel chains, we go to the local businesses. And of course, big hotels will keep their markets and they'll just, this is new. I think what will happen here is that in the low season, we'll have digital nomads, like spending 2-3 months here, spending a lot of money in the local economies. During the high season, basically we don't like high season. We don't like tourists, which is very ironic.
Yeah.
So we'll just leave the tourists coming. We don't want to be here during the high season. We want to explore Europe. We want to explore places that are colder in the winter, and this will balance out. The reason why people are so negative as well, there is no tourism right now, and you see these nomads coming, and you think it will replace. That's not an idea. Idea is to build a new market, like Canggu in Bali did, like Chiang Mai, like even Bansko in the middle of the mountains of Bulgaria was able to do. And then you have a lot of interesting people around, you have communities, people spending money here, but you also have the tourists. Tourists will not stop coming because there is digital nomads. Tourists may come even more, like it happened in Canggu in Bali. That was just first surfers paradise, then now digital nomad paradise, and now tourists are learning because we take a lot of pictures.
Known, right?
We take a lot of pictures. Like Ponta do Sol is all over the news in the world. We film a lot of videos.
Yeah.
We share the word about these beautiful places. The tourist takes 2-3 pictures for Instagram, usually the same places.
They're mostly private.
And they go, but we share. We are very loud about the places we love. And it's just little things like going to Clubhouse, right? Yesterday, I was going to Clubhouse and I had one of the world's biggest influencers. She didn't know who I was. One of the world's big influencers saying, well, I really want to go to Madeira next because it looks like everybody's going there. And this is the power of the things you can't usually do with tourism or with normal tourism. We base our decisions, we as a community, digital community, we based a lot of our decisions in the word of mouth. And when other markets tells me, well, how do I attract digital nomads? Like, you have to build a good offer, you have to build a community, and the word of mouth will start spreading. You can't do Facebook ads to attract digital nomads here.
You can't fool us, right?
No, you can't fool us. We are...
Especially this community is like against all this kind of advertisement and stuff, right?
Yeah,
like,
but you know what's fun? Like, people say we are cheap, but I have guys here spending 2,000 euros a month in a villa. I have guys here spending 1,500 in a hotel because they prefer to stay in a hotel. That doesn't sound like cheap. We eat every day, they spend like 20, 30 euros a day eating out, which for Madeira is quite high. So the comparison is like we don't spend all the stupid money like tourists do because they have 8 days to spend all their money. We have the whole month, but we spend much more money than tourists. If you spread it by how much each person spends here, these guys spend 2,000, 3,000 every month. A tourist should spend, even with a hotel, 1,000 euros.
Yeah. Makes kind of sense.
Mathematics.
No, it is. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to us. I think it's just, like you said, it's education, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a complete wrong. It's like even me, like doing this for so long, but not knowing about the community, which I'm very thankful that you explained me, and I hope to get more to learn here. But I think like people outside seeing this is a different generation. Is an area that they have zero like knowledge in.
Yeah.
And it's all very foreign, right? And I think there is lots of communication in that generation, but not outside of that. I think like the way we explain things might not make sense for other people or like other generations in some ways, right?
But it's changing. I'm very happy. Like even in Madeira, even with some negative comments, but that will always happen online. Although offline, we don't see anything of that.
Yeah.
It will always happen.
No, it does.
For anything,
It does.
like even for tourism, there is a ongoing discussion about, for example, if a big hotel comes to Ribeira Brava to Madeleine do Mar, will it ruin Madeleine do Mar with mass tourism? Madeleine do Mar doesn't have any big hotels, just a couple of Airbnbs. Will a big 5-star hotel ruin Madeleine do Mar? So it's the same discussion is being had both for mass tourism, digital nomads. Mass tourism kind of ruined Lisbon, ruined Barcelona, for example.
No, it's much worse. I mean, we spend lots of time with local businesses,
Yeah,
and they are really desperate what these big hotels and this mass tourism does to them.
yeah.
So it's actually it's like what happens with this community is actually for the island much better than the mass tourism. It's just difficult to explain to people.
Yeah, you know what's fun? All the good restaurants I know are making money. All the good businesses I know are making money because we are sending a lot of people there. And again, like suddenly, imagine a restaurant that's actually a small hotel that is struggling. We can fill them for 1 month, and that makes a difference. Imagine, like these guys were pretty much empty during the day because right now we have a curfew at 7. They used to work better from 6:30 until 10, and now they lost their best time. But if you go there during the day, there have people every single day at every time. People working from there, people eating breakfast, people spending 15 euros in breakfast. All the good businesses are thriving. So with mass tourism, there is more like a blind spot. And if you are good, and if you know, if anyone from the community goes there, we will go there over and over again. There is this cafe in the mountain in Funchal that is far away from everything. And because they have the best coffee in the island that no tourist cares about, no local cares about, but because they have the best coffee in the island, digital nomads go there every day. And it's really far away in the mountains. We just go there. We want to spend money there because it's the best coffee. So if your business is good, probably we will find it and we will share it, and it will bring more and more people in. People that spend money, not just save 70 cents. We spend money. We work from there, but we go there, we eat breakfast, we drink good coffee. We actually will end up eating lunch if we are around for 3 hours. And that's a lot of money for a cafe that would probably be empty with mass tourism.
You love community.
Yes.
What's is there any question that you would have?
I would like to have timetable for yoga and all that stuff. I don't know about those things.
We'll find them on Slack.
Yes.
Okay. It's just because of the COVID. I think that's why I was not sure if it's open, if it's available. Otherwise.
Yeah, because of COVID, this is actually good. We do 99% of the things are outdoors. Because if yoga is on the beach, CrossFit is on the beach, we work a lot outside here as well. We were working outside. So I'd say 99% of the things, everything we can do outdoor will be outdoor, including yoga. I want to support everyone, but the good businesses I support more than the business that are just
Yeah.
But we'll go back to the same quality. If you serve us well, we'll be there over and over again.
I mean, I think this is general because you said like this community, we are like, what you said,
Word of mouth?
No, we are like outliers, or we are like misfits, right? Like we don't like the established way, and I believe this is generally we are looking for the real stuff, the integrity, supporting the guys who work hard.
Yeah.
Like we don't get all this bullshit that you can just like shortcut stuff and buy your stuff, right?
There is a whole new generation of nomads. Like these guys start working remotely because of COVID, and it's really important to educate these new nomads. Like it's a big part of what we are doing. Being able to educate these people that are just coming here for the first time. And I was in Las Palmas before, and they thought, well, this is just partying. I party during the night, I work a little bit during the day. And if you come to Ponta do Sol, you're already different. You already shows community over partying because there is no party here.
And COVID helps, right?
Yeah, and COVID helps a lot. Well, there is events, of course. We go for drinks pretty much. People go for drinks every day, but it's not a party.
But it's like
grab a drink in the
this
beach.
Chiang Mai picture that you see online of the digital nomad, like on the hammock on the beach working and partying, and like this is not the real deal, right?
No, it's about community. It's about doing yoga together. It's about drinking punches together. It's about watching the sunset every day.
So much real and sounds more boring. It doesn't sell that well, right?
You know, I say always my life is very boring. Nobody knows, but my life is really boring. Like
Yeah, I say the same.
I wake up, I work, I go for a coffee, I work, I go for doing a little bit of CrossFit, I drink a beer, watch the sunset, go home, work a little bit, and I repeat. During the weekends we go a little bit more wild, but we work. I work a lot. Most of these guys work a lot. So, yeah, our life is a little bit boring, but we are boring in beautiful places.
That's well said.
It's just that, like, we are boring. My life is boring, but if you can be boring working, watching
But
the
boring
banana
is
trees,
beautiful. Like if you see
I think so.
if you see the value in it, right?
Yeah.
It's like even doing like building a boring product, like you know something that like grows organically, sustainable. It's
Yeah.
just solid. It doesn't like you know like it has a spike and then it
then
dies.
goes, yeah.
It's just boring. You
Life needs to be boring. That's true.
Yeah,
but
it's
but
like-
then on the weekends you have the spikes of activity. Like
Yeah,
you go
that's
for
good.
swimming, you go for
That's
Vadas,
good.
you go for surfing. That's
That's
okay.
called life-work balance, then, right?
Yeah, that's the goal. Like the goal of digital nomads shouldn't be partying during the week or surfing. Well, we can surf every day,
Surf should be okay.
and that's okay. But it's more about finding, at least myself as a digital nomad right now, is like finding the place that makes you happy. So the
Yeah.
first year I was traveling 1 month everywhere, and then 2 months everywhere, and now I'm staying 5 months because I know what I'm looking for. I know I'm looking for ocean, nature, good weather, and usually I look for beach volleyball or CrossFit because those are the things I need to be happy and the community. And now it's easier. Now if you look out to the world, suddenly there is almost a FOMO because you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And suddenly you see, okay, this place doesn't have ocean. Maybe for 1 month, just for like a transition period, but not to stay 5 months. I want to stay 5 months in Madeira, in Las Palmas, in Bali. Those places have everything I love. But for you can be something completely different. You can say, I only want to stay in places that have a tech startup community. And then you have places like Berlin, you have places like Lisbon, you have places like Porto, and then it's your thing and you'll be happier there. Or you can say, I want to dive every single day. And because of that I need places where I can have access to the ocean and good diving tools. And then you go to Thailand and you can dive every day in the morning, work every day in the afternoon. You will learn about yourself and what makes you happy.
I think this is the biggest thing that we discovered, that learning about yourself.
Yeah,
It's like
it's the key.
like getting rid of all the BS and like all the what society tells you that you should be or should do, and
Yeah.
just learn about what you love, what makes you happy, which
That's
things you
simple.
enjoy, and what you actually don't need in your life.
Yeah, it's just that simple. And
Yeah.
we'll see a big trend after this, which is traveling involving deep learning. So imagine I want to learn how to surf. I will travel to a surf destination, stay there for 5 months and surf every day. I want how to play piano. I will go to a place where classic music is just normal, like Vienna, and play piano every day. I want to learn how to dive. I go to a place where I can dive every day. So the future, part of the future, not like there is not one solution, is actually mixing beautiful places, deep learning experiences, and people traveling that can stay there longer, and they will have this learning period, because you can't learn surf staying 1 month in one place,
Yeah.
because you'll go surf 3-4 times. You can't learn diving if you go dive twice. You can experience diving, but you can't learn. And
It's like a holiday.
yeah, but a lot of nomads want to learn something. We want to learn how to play piano. We want to learn how to surf. It's not just we want to try surf. So we'll see more and more in the future this mix between staying in places where you can have access to deep learning experiences.
That makes sense.
That's why they hired me.
You're good. All right.
So how people can find this place?
How people
The-
can find this place?
Yeah.
All over the news.
Digital Nomads Madeira. Hopefully we are the first website. But CNN, Washington Post, everywhere. But if you want to register, digitalnomads.startupmadeira.eu. And yeah, just there is a button to register. You have access to the Slack community.
Yeah.
Don't ignore this email like I did.
Click the button to the Slack community.
I found this email actually.
Yes.
The Slack, the invite expired, so I registered again.
Okay,
Takes about 3 days, they say. So let's see how long it takes.
I can imagine. we have special groups. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Hope it was good.
Cool. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
You're
No.
doing an amazing job here.
Going for a coffee.